You look fabulous, by the way.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I feel like I'm like too shiny, but thank you.
No, you look great. So, congratulations on another season of Ghosted.
Thank you. It's
So,
exciting.
so exciting. First of all, tell me, have you ever been ghosted yourself?
I definitely have. I was ghosted years ago when it didn't have a term. We would say he was Casper as a joke,
Right.
but it didn't have a term, so it was almost shameful. It was embarrassing. Like now it's like, oh girl, he ghosted you. Oh yeah, that happened to me 5 times. Back then, you didn't talk about it. And so I was dating this guy off and on, toxic relationship, but I can say that now.
Right.
In the moment, he was the love of my life. And I called him one day, fine, call him the next day, and I hear, the number you've reached is no longer in service. I thought, okay, I just talked to him yesterday. This is a mistake. I called like 15 times later. He had changed his number. And this was before Instagram, so he didn't really have a social media presence. So there really wasn't a way for me. Like even mutual friends, I'm like, did you talk to so-and-so? And they're like, yeah, I talked to them. And I'm like, oh, well, like he changed his number on me. It wasn't until 2 years later that I found out that he went back to the mother of his children and they're happily married now. But he was like, I didn't know how to leave you alone. And I knew that if I told you that I was gonna go back to her, you wouldn't have accepted it. And
Right.
He's right. I would have fought for it. Because we had like, it was an up and down relationship. It was toxic. So I got it, but for 2 years, I never had a serious relationship. I always thought of him. I wondered if he was okay. What is he doing? Is it something I did? And when I finally got the closure I needed, it was such a huge relief for me. So that's why I'm so passionate about doing Ghosted, because I get it. I've been there. I empathize with you. I want to help you. I want to help you move on with your life. It's devastating, especially when there are years involved.
Definitely. I mean, you bring up a good point, having been ghosted before social media. Now that we have all of the tools that we do, you and Travis specifically as hosts, like you can really get to the bottom of things by digging in ways we couldn't have years ago, right?
Yeah, we can, but then it's more hurtful to the haunted, as we call them, because that you can be blocked in more than one way. So like for me, they changed their phone number. We deal with cases where it's like they block them from TikTok and Snapchat and Instagram, and it's like ruthless.
Yeah.
Everything else. And so it's almost like, wow, you took all these measures to make disappear from my life, rather than just say, hey, I'm not that into you. Hey, you did this to me, or, whatever the reason may be.
For sure. I mean, we all think that ghosting is wrong, but have you found that there may be a right way to ghost somebody, or is it just a no-no?
It's a no-no.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a world because ghosting is cutting off without any communication. So without any rhyme or reason,
Right.
without any explanation. I don't know how. I mean, I would call it something different, right? Unless the person was violent to you, and you disappear, but I wouldn't call that. It's like, that's an escape. That's saving your life. That's something totally
washing your hands clean of a bad situation.
right.
Yeah.
That's the only time I could be like, okay, like you had to just get away, but we don't deal with those type of cases. It's random reasons. I mean, if you look at season 1, it was politics. There was a child involved. There was the comedy show one, which she had heard him making. She was his comedy bit. Which is crazy.
I love it. I mean, I got a sneak peek of the first episode of this next season, and it is amazing. What I love about it, though, and I find so intriguing, is that, as you say, the haunted, sometimes not everyone is telling the total truth. You think the person ghosting is the one that's sort of lying and talking, out of turn, but like sometimes the haunted need to own up to their too.
Yeah. I mean, that's the change that you will see in the second season, because in the first season, we felt like there were times where the haunted wasn't being truthful, but because the haunted reached out to us, our allegiance was to them.
Right.
We go investigating with them. They tell us their story. They become involved. The ghosts, we take what they say as truth because you took the time and the effort to reach out to us. And there were a couple of cases where we felt we were being used. We felt we were being, duped. And this season, Travis and I are like, we're not having that.
No.
If you do something, we will call you out on it. We will be tough love to you. And I think that makes for an interesting dynamic in season 2, because there's a lot of that.
I mean, maybe, and that makes me think that like maybe, because I try to see the positive on both ends, maybe the person that ghosted was like, I had to leave because this person is crazy.
Yeah. That literally happens in an episode.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait.
That might be one of my favorite ones. And I went off. Like, it was like Rachel unleashed.
Totally.
That's exactly what happened. We were like, save yourself from this person. But that person didn't present themselves that way to us. It all came to a head confrontation day. That's what I think is so exciting about the way the show is set up and the build up to it. Because Travis and I truly never know why they ghosted. We find out with The Haunted. So the reactions that you're getting are very real.
Right. Do you like this new way of doing it? I mean, obviously 2020 has been crazy for all of us, but a show like Ghosted is sort of perfect for this setup.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of unknown in the beginning because, you know, there was so much technology and I'm not great with it. And I was setting up my own cameras and miking myself and the lighting, and it was a lot, plus being on-air talent.
Totally.
So once I got into the hang of it, I found it to be a lot easier. I will say another hard thing is that, you know, if someone wants to bounce, they could just leave a Zoom meeting.
Oh, true.
If we were in person, we could follow you with the camera.
Right.
So we have to deal with some of that on the show where they're like, what did you say? You know, and they bounce.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So
it's
will we
easy to run away. They ghost us.
They ghost you on your own ghosted show. Oh my God, that is crazy. Having done this show for the first season and now filming the second season, what advice do you have for us out there that have been ghosted?
There's no way that you can prepare for being ghosted, right? That's what makes it so devastating. No one's going to give you a hint. You're not going to see the signs of it. They're just going to one day not be involved in your life, and they're going to block you from every sense of theirs. The thing I will say that I see time and time again is the haunted will blame themselves. They will constantly say, it's something I did something wrong. And most of the time, no, it isn't. And I even did that in my own situation. So I would just say as advice, it is tough when you don't have answers and you don't have the closure you need, but don't blame yourself. Unless you really did something, don't blame yourself, and what they did is wrong and that's their fault. It's nothing you did.
Right.
And I have to constantly tell people that even when we find out the reason of ghosting, we have to have that talk a lot. It's crazy how it's human nature almost to blame yourselves.